Hi everyone, and welcome to another pick a card video on my channel. My name is Julie Ann Fay, and I'm a certified angel card reader and a professional astrologer. On this channel, I do pick a card videos at the new and full moon. I'm catching this one just after the full moon was exact, which was yesterday. My puppers may interrupt this video for a peanut butter temper tantrum. But he's already gotten peanut butter today, so I can't give him more. He's becoming addicted to peanut butter, in case it isn't obvious. And I also did a new astrology video on my channel recently, which was bringing back my Stars with the Stars series. I did Kourtney Kardashian and her love life with Travis Barker, and also a little bit with Scott Disick. So check that out if you want to see some astrology walkthroughs. And I am planning on doing more of those. I'd like to see more people engaging with the video, but it is a different style video than my usual pick a card, so I do get it. But with that being said, we're going to roll into this full moon in Taurus pick a card. Now, even though the moon is now in Gemini and it's already moved past the point where it was exact with the eclipse energy and in opposition to the sun in Scorpio, whenever we have a new or full moon, it always initiates a cycle that takes us 2 weeks to fully integrate. 2 weeks, okay? And I feel like most people in metaphysics that are just getting introduced to these concepts, they don't really realize that, but it's something that I constantly am telling my membership groups. I'm also telling my clients, as many people as I can. I like to share that tidbit because it's important to understand that everything is cyclical in astrology. So it's not like a one and done experience. It's something gets activated and it takes us time to integrate that activation, and things run on cycles in that way. I also want to do a shout out to Pink Anchor Boutique, who I did do a share on my Instagram. She is a local business owner who makes amazing handmade scrunchies and headbands. And this is actually a Marauders Map Harry Potter themed headband that I got from her. So I just want to do a shout out to her and check on my Instagram, because I tagged her Instagram on there and you can see me showing off some of the products there. So, and just a FYI, my Instagram is private. So if you do want to follow me, shoot me a message, shoot me a DM on my Insta so I kind of know who you are, and I'll be more than happy to accept. I have been back and forth private and public with my Instagram. It's kind of a whole journey, a whole experience for me. And for a little bit now, I've had it as private because it is a combination of my personal as well as my business. And I've tried to separate them, but then I find that I merge them back together again. And frankly, there is a ton of spamming and copycat accounts going on with, in particular, lots of metaphysical healers. And I just I've actually been helping other accounts and other healers by letting them know that they have duplicate accounts and reporting and blocking those accounts. And I'm just in a position where I just don't feel like having that right now. And I also am public in other places. I'm public here on YouTube. I have my Facebook business page. I'm on Etsy. I'm of course on my blog. I'm on Sage App. I'm in lots of places. So it's a journey. I'm sure I will go public with my Insta again at some point, but I do appreciate having it private so I don't have to worry about random people like exes and random people from my life that, are not something that I got through recently, but in the past, I've definitely encountered some stuff with that. And also, I just also really got tired of like very, very inappropriate accounts viewing my Insta stories. And it just felt like, why? Just why? So yeah, and it does make me uncomfortable, that my personal pictures are being viewed by these seriously. Anyway, so soapbox over in regards to that. It's a journey, but that's kind of the piece that I'm at with it. So that's some business updates, sort of. I want to also do a shout out. Once again, I did a shout out and I will continue to do so to my new Patreon page. I've got a couple tiers on there where you can support my channel. I've got Give Back Fairy, which is $5 a month. And once I get up to 10 Patreons on that, I will start releasing additional pick a card videos privately just for Patreons. So it's a low amount per month and you can help support my channel. You know, every video that I do is hours and hours of time to set up for, to, you know, get going, to record. Then I always have to go back and rewatch, get timestamps, then I have to upload it. There's a whole process, and I am not even factoring in video editing to my videos. So that is something I want to really start incorporating, and I need more support in order to be able to do that. So the more that you can support me, if you enjoy my content, the better, because it is important that we give back to small business owners and content creators, and Patreon is a good way to do that. I do also have my Fearlessly Fairy and my Astro Fairy and All Inclusive Fairy, which is the combo of those two. Those membership groups are now on my Patreon. So you can actually just sign up right through Patreon for those. And those are a little bit more advanced. I give much deeper content with week-to-week content on those, as well as a greater private reading discount, private Facebook group, journaling document. There's a whole bunch of stuff that goes along with those. So they are at a little bit of a higher price point, but really, really amazing groups that, you know, it's consistent month to month content. So that's what I want to say there. I forget if I told you guys, I may also want to do a quick shout out to the newest spiritual curriculum I wrote, which is called Planetary Cheat Sheets. I'm going to share this with you all real quick. So on my Etsy shop, which is etsy.com/shop/Julianne Healing, that is linked in the description, so you can just go right to it. I do have a couple new spiritual curriculums. You guys probably saw me talk about the astrological retrogrades one. This one does still contain info on the upcoming Venus retrograde in Capricorn. Okay, so I'll probably be advertising this. I might even just, between you and I, although I know I'm sharing this with like everyone on YouTube, but I probably will be discounting this one. So if you're interested in getting this one, make sure that you're subscribed to my email newsletter, because I'll be announcing it in there. But this is the newest one, is my planetary cheat sheets. And this one is a wonderful resource if you want to get caught up to speed with all of the different major planets, as well as different correspondences. So archangels, crystals, various things. I kind of give you quite a lot per planet, and it's very digestible. You know, I have a teaching background, so this is me like actually writing content for you to learn. And this offering does also include 2 Stars with the Stars walkthroughs, which are now, you know, unlisted. So you can't actually see those on my channel unless you get them, you know, through something like this. So I wanted to do a shout out to that. So definitely check that out. Check out my Patreon. And let's kind of slide in a little bit to some of the full moon vibes, and then I'll be going over the decks, queuing up the cards off camera like I always do, and all of that good stuff. So I have to admit, the reason why I'm a little delayed in getting this to you guys is because this full moon in Taurus has been really epic for me. You know, I knew when I was looking at it in Astro Fairy that this was going to be an epic full moon, because it's a full moon at the end of Taurus opposing the end of Scorpio. Those are 2 intense fixed energies, carry a lot of major like life force and power energy. And, you know, this particular full moon is also conjunct Algol, which is a fixed star that relates to Kundalini energy and personal power and transformation. It's definitely a fixed star that can be used. I've written a lot about Algol on my blog, but can be used for sometimes destructive forces, but can also be used for a lot of good, a lot of personal transformation. So I do know a lot about Algol, and I'm always like, I feel like I'm always teaching people or talking to people about Algol because it's an important one. So yeah, this full moon really has a lot of, I would say, like the seeds of energy related to power and transformation, transforming one's personal power and tapping into, you know, almost like a portal of self-worth and deservingness. And I know for me, it has been a week of intense like karmic clearing. And I actually was doing a whole bunch of decluttering, and I rediscovered these Sage Goddess tattoos that I have. So I put those on both hands. But yeah, it's, you know, for me personally, it's been a week of a lot of emotional releasing, a lot of clearing, which started on an energetic level, and then after that emotionally, and then after that, like physically in the 3D, actually doing a lot of clearing of stuff, which was great. So yeah, a lot of emotions, a lot of intensity, and a lot of that is related to stuff I have going on in my own chart and where this full moon is placed and things it relates to from my past and stuff like that. But you know, wherever this full moon is in your chart, there's no doubt this was a powerful full moon. It does have the energy of the eclipse attached to it, because being that it's so close to, you know, it's at the end of Taurus, and the nodes are transiting now. They're so far, the nodes are really weird and they move backwards. So the nodes, the north and south nodes, are at they're getting ready to, basically the simplest way I can explain it is that they're getting ready to go into Taurus and Scorpio at the beginning of next year. And I will talk about this in Astro Fairy, my astrology membership group. I'll go over this with you guys and the charts. So they're getting ready to change signs. And because of where the full moon, and of course now we're in eclipse season where that's happening, it is impacting the nodes. You know, every eclipse is a little different though, because it depends on how tight of an orb it is to those nodes, and there's a lot of factors involved. So it's important to understand that it is part of eclipse season and it carries extra weight and extra significance energetically. But I wouldn't get too hung up on the fact that, you know, I would focus more on the energy of what the newer full moon is in, and in particular what house it's in your natal chart and how that house is aspected. Okay. And if you do know more advanced stuff like your progressed moon, if it's impacting that or anything, that can help as well. So with that being said, I want to transition to show you guys the decks that I'm using. So I may or may not use all of these decks in your pile, but I always like to give credit where credit is due. So we have the Chakra Love, really cute, kind of like affirmation cards here. This is by, I actually don't know who this is by, but it's by Roxx Publishing. Lightseer Tarot by Chris Ann. Wisdom of the Oracle. I'm trying to sell this deck for no other reason than just that I want some new decks. I want some fresh energy. So I am looking to do some deck swaps and or sales. So this is one that I am looking to do with that. So if you like it, please feel free to email me or message me, and we can discuss. The Chakra Wisdom Oracle by Colette Baron Reed. Healing Mantra deck by Matt Kahn. This is a very simple but super powerful deck. And then two decks that I myself was working with recently, which I wanted to bring in to help you guys with. Queen of the Moon Oracle by Stacey DeMarco and Cheryl Richardson Self-Care Cards. Okay, or Self-Care Cards by Cheryl Richardson, I should say. So with that being said, I'm going to queue up the cards off camera, or sorry, the pile picks off camera. As I always like to do, it's just easiest instead of you guys seeing me like, you know, shuffling and using my intuition and all that. And I will BRB. All right, so let's take a look at the three piles. As always, I encourage you guys to make sure that you're in a calm, centered place when you do this pile pick. You want to use this as like a touchstone to give you clues about your energy right now. Okay, so this will teach you about like vibrationally, what are you matching to, and what are the lessons and the advice that you need to learn right now. As I like to do with my pick of cards, I don't actually go into them with a particular theme or intention. I just do the pile picks, I channel the messages, and then I review it back and see, okay, what was kind of the predominant theme there, you know, and I let the cards kind of like tell me what the energy of that pile pick video was about. So this is truly an opportunity for you to see like energetically what aligns to you in this new full moon, you know, whatever it might be, energy cycle. Okay, so take a deep breath, pause the video, close your eyes, take a sip of tea if you need to, just kind of get calm and centered. Don't feel like you have to rush this process, or if you're frantic, pause this video, come back to it at a later time. There's no rush, okay? So with that being said, I'm gonna show you guys the piles as I always do. You know, again, they're always going to look the same from the back. So you're tuning into the energetic frequency of what this pile is about. You can use your hand as a divination tool. You can check in with your body. A lot of us, well, myself, especially one of my primary clairs is clairsentience. So I feel things through my body. Some people may see it as almost like circled in their mind's eye. Or you can even just use the timestamps and see which particular of the timestamps are you drawn to, okay? So this is pile number 1, which one of the decks does not have like a solid backside, so you may see a tiny little peek from that. We'll try to hide it. But this is pile 1. And this is the energy of pile 2. Hold on 1 second. Okay. And this is the energy of pile 3. Okay, so let's take a look at them all together. We've got, okay, pile 1, pile 2, and pile 3. Pile 1, pile 2, and pile 3. Pause the video if you need to take a little bit of extra time. There is no right or wrong to this. It's just intuitively, what do you feel drawn to? And you could come back to this video at a later date and pick a totally different pile because energetically you're vibing somewhere else, okay? So without further ado, let's get into it. I'm going to roll into pile 1's messages. I feel like a real sense of calm too, I will say, while doing this pick a card video. I just looked and it's 11:11. So yeah, I think there's definitely like an angelic frequency that is soothing and encouraging. Potentially after, I know this has been my truth, things have been extremely tumultuous and with like a lot of turmoil. So tapping into the frequency of like recognizing the signs from my guides, that angelic support, that peaceful, loving, almost like Neptunian vibe is, you know, really, really helpful, especially while going through some of these, you know, more challenging energetic times. So let's see what we got, pile 1 peeps. Okay, I actually want to get my astro dice out as well. Just leave that there for now. So we do have a couple different things going on here, but I am strongly drawn to start over here. So it says from the healing mantra cards, there is no problem, only destiny being revealed. There is no problem, only destiny being revealed. And it says welcoming surrender. There's no problem, only destiny being revealed. And we do have why here. Okay, card number 31. So I definitely see this, and I know this, I can so relate to this, that there has been a lot of intense questioning on your part. You might have been like, why did I meet this person? Why did this situation go down that way? Why did this happen? Why am I not getting what I want? There's a lot of questioning here. And certainly with, particularly in the first half of this month, which we're now starting to shift out of, but particularly in the beginning of this month, we had so much fixed energy with, you know, planets moving into Scorpio, squaring over to the planets in Aquarius. Okay, so there has been a lot of fixed energy between fixed water and fixed air, which is about, you know, emotions versus intellect, and trying to decipher things through those two different realms, right? Which have different power in different ways. So there definitely may have been on your part like a lot of deep attachment to trying to understand what this whole situation was about. You know, whether it was this person that entered your life, this situation that happened, there was this potentially like deep, almost like borderline obsession with questioning, like, well, what the heck was this? Why did this come about? Why did this go down this way? Okay. And with this, there is no problem, only destiny being revealed. You're being encouraged to look at this as it was an experience that you went through. And I know I was going through this recently. I can really relate to this because I have been / was going through this recently. I kind of reached a bit more of a breakthrough with it last night, actually, with the full moon. But I have been very like obsessive about which path do I take in a particular life area. Do I do this or do I do that? And sometimes there are specifics that get added to that story. Like, am I specifically pursuing this one or that one? You know? So I was like obsessively watching pick a cards, asking like so specifically this one or that one, and getting so confused every time I watched a pick a card because like there was a lot of mixing and matching energy going on where like I was with it to a point and then it would like kind of get confusing because I could see it being about the other one. So I just kept like confusing myself. And I remembered a Hicks talk, an Abraham Hicks talk I listened to, where she talked about how if you get too specific with your manifestations and you start to tap into resistance by being too specific, you need to stop and kind of back it up and go general. Okay, because there is a thing about if you get too attached to a particular outcome or too like obsessive about a particular energy manifesting in a particular way, you can actually like interfere with like the organic process of that just like having its own evolution, right? Whereas if we go general, which is looking at the qualities we want, how we want that person to behave, or how we want that home or job or whatever situation to look like, we can still call that thing in along with maybe other options or even options that are better for us, right? So I really kind of dialed it back and said, okay, I need to go general about like what energies am I under right now? What is the energetic theme of what I'm going through? And I manifested a pick a card video that like completely reflected back to me things I needed to hear related to that. And it was so much more healing than like going too specific with it, if that makes sense. So this might be partially what you're being encouraged to do as well. Okay. Is instead of being so specific with like, why that person, why that thing, you know, and I do see this a lot because I'm very involved in, you know, especially in YouTube, I consume other pick a card videos. And I see this a lot with other healers too, where people ask such specific questions about, especially with love life, like very specific people, right? And you have to remember that you have free will, they have free will. The energy changes all the time, you know? So, you know, if you guys notice, I don't really like, I'm thinking of one particular pick a card reader where like she makes really high quality production videos, but she's very obsessed about like, why is there no contact? When will he contact? All of this kind of stuff, you know, and that's like not my bag at all. I'm so much more, probably because I do come from a teaching background and like my science background, I'm so much more about like personal development and helping you to understand how to navigate the dynamic. And I think some of those videos can do that. But I think we have to be cautious about getting so wrapped up in like, what the other person thinks, because really like you don't know what the other person thinks. You're not them. You're living your life and your journey, right? And they have free will. And even if you watch this video that says that they think or be or act this way, like guess what? It could change tomorrow, right? So I think it can be a little tricky, and it can actually become unhealthy when we become obsessive about like another person, place, or thing and what their energy situation is. It's far better for us to focus on our own energetic themes and what we're going through and how to heal that. So I see this as a lot about like lessons about surrender, you know, surrendering attachment with with, you know, all the Scorpio energy, it can get very, very obsessively attached, which is a beautiful quality about Scorpio, that it's very driven and attached in that way. But sometimes we do have to surrender. We do have to let go a little bit. Okay. And with power here and darkness, I see this as like 100% this dynamic that you have a lot of strength and power in this situation. You're almost like trying to command the cosmos and the universe with this dynamic, with this person, with this job, or whatever it might be. And that can be a good thing. Like, I'm calling this into my being. Scorpio is very powerful in that way about like attracting stuff to it. So it's a beautiful thing to be powerful. However, with this darkness card, I see it as like, and this actually almost has, you know, kind of like some eclipse energy here, although there are eclipse cards in this deck and this is not one of them. But I see that there's a lot of mystery around this situation. You know, this almost reminds me of like the moon card in a way, the moon card plus a combo of like the world card from the Energy Oracle deck by Sandra Ann Taylor, if you know what that one is. But there might be a lot that's hidden in this situation. And you're trying to kind of like exert your power and say like, well, what is it already kind of thing? Like, what is it this? Is it that? But I think that there is still stuff to be revealed. Remember that we are in shadow season, right? So this is a time where we're going more inward. People sometimes can, especially if they're dealing with a lot, they can be sometimes more, they might not be as extroverted with what's going on, you know, or it's just that literally you feel in the dark about the situation. And this is at times causing you to almost like manipulate your personal power or like your reserves of power because you're so very much wanting to use this power to move forward. But unfortunately, there are aspects of the situation that are just not known yet. They're yet to be revealed. Okay. And I think that that's just like kind of, again, part of the lesson about you may have this level of power and assertion with this scenario, and you may be doing a lot of questioning and trying to figure this out, but some things do have to be surrendered to a particular timing or to just be further illuminated, you know. And we do have here passion and clear the clutter. Okay, so this is exactly what I was doing today, was clutter clearing. And it really, like, I still am like, wow, makes such a difference, you know. And I knew that I had to clutter clear a lot like recently, but I had resistance to it. So if this is you, and you know, just start praying to your angels and your guides like, hey, I need to work on, you know, getting rid of some things. I want to find things to donate. Please help me, you know, go through your closet, find clothes that like you keep but you never wear, you know, because in the process of clearing that energy, it resets things. It's like a reset button, and it's an invitation to the universe that you're ready for change. And it also does allow you to be receptive to bring in new energies, which is really great as well, right? Which this power card, that's what you're wanting to do. You're wanting to call that power to you. So take this opportunity where you do have this level of personal power to do energy work on clearing things, energetically clearing. Use that power for kind of like good transformational energy instead of trying to control or force somebody else in the scenario, you know. And then we do have passion here. So again, I see this as like another version of this power card. It's like you're a very passionate being right now. You know, you have a lot that you can do, that you can give. You know, you could be channeling this power energy into your creative arts. You know, are you learning a particular instrument right now? Are you, you know, a content creator like me? Are there things that you can write or create or do? Channel this like really powerful energy into that. And look at how she's channeling this energy into it, and there's storms going on in the background, but she's kind of like on phase. She's like, you know what, it's all part of it, you know. So, and I have been getting this message even from another spiritual healer that I follow that helps me a lot, where he's talked about how there's an energy storm going on, you know, a lot in November and even into December. So finding ways to channel your energy in a transforming and positive way while these energy storms are going on, that's the secret sauce right there. Okay. And then lastly, we have, I want to get a clarifier for you guys on this. So let's do from these little affirmation cards here, clarifier for pile 1 peeps. I've got this one, and I'm also going to roll my astro dice. And I'm going to do it 3 times because that's been my rhythm. Not that I necessarily have to explain that every time, but sometimes I do. Okay, so we've got, and this did come up in reverse, root chakra, hematite, foundation. Foundation is what the castle of your soul is built upon. Okay, so I do see this as the fact that it did come up in reverse and it's a root chakra card about foundations. I almost see this as like mini tower kind of card right here. It's just indicating that there have been energetic storms. There have been things that you've been trying to command into your energy field with this power card, but ultimately there's certain aspects of this situation which are out of your control. They're unseen, or there's just something here where it's like you cannot seem to build this tower, you cannot seem to build the structure up, you know. And we do have here Scorpio in the first house with Neptune. Okay, so certainly angels help me channel this because it's so coming through so strongly. So with Neptune, this is about dissolving energy, dissolving our ego in many ways, dissolving our, especially with the first house here, our identity. Okay. I always like to kind of teach people like Neptune is the energy of, well, first of all, it's related to the ocean. But if we think about when something kind of small, right, goes into the ocean, or even just like rewind it back, let's think about like a sugar cube, you know, going into a glass of like warm water. That dissolving process of the sugar into the water where you don't know what's what anymore to like the naked eye, that's very Neptunian. It's about dissolving something that was once one way, the sugar cube, which was like discrete, like a cube, into a much larger body of water such that it becomes like all one. That's very Neptunian. So with this Neptune first house here and Scorpio, this is a lot about dissolving your attachments. Scorpio does relate to attachments and your assertion, your willpower, dissolving the attachments that you have to particular things, because there is a need to surrender this situation. And I think that, you know, with the first house here, this is about your self-identity, who you are. So you might feel very strongly like hurt or impacted or some type of way about this scenario, because with the first house, it does relate to the ego in many ways, but it's also like the self-identity and it's Aries energy, right? So there's something here about like your drive, your willpower. You feel like you cannot move forward here. And with this Neptune first house Scorpio, it's saying that part of the way for you to move forward with this situation is to sort of dissolve and surrender into it, to just like allow and trust, you know, that, which can be a difficult thing for Scorpio energy to trust, because they would rather kind of like assert, exert, and apply control, right? As a general rule, I'm just generalizing, but so there is a need here about just like surrendering to the process, surrendering to like this, especially with the first house here, like this situation and how it's related to who you are as an individual. You know, what is it that you're telling yourself about this scenario that's making you so attached? You know, are you kind of putting together a story that because you're not hearing back from this person, or because this isn't working out, that you are in some way worthless or undeserving? Like really looking at those, that like negative self-talk, right? And from my experience, like Scorpios can be very hard on themselves in this way because they are so driven. And when they don't manifest what they want, they do take it quite hard because they're very like persistent and hard workers and very driven to achieve what they want to achieve. So sometimes they can be really, really self-critical. You know, for Scorpio, their third house, the house of the mind, would be in Virgo. So they can be in their minds, you know, they may not always reveal this to you, but I think the more you get to know them, and even also Moon and Scorpio people, I've noticed this very strongly as well, they just internalize it even deeper. There can be like a lot of self-criticism of like, well, there's something wrong with me because this person doesn't want me, or I can't manifest this in this way and stuff like that. So there is definitely a message here about just like really trying your best to just dissolve and surrender, like the sugar cube in the glass of warm water, into this situation, and that there may be aspects of it that are out of your control. There's other people's free will involved. There's maybe some type of divine timing involved. Astrologically, maybe it's not the right time. So there's a need for you to kind of surrender here to maybe being like overly fixated or overly attached on trying to call this manifestation into being. But I do see some good vibes here with Six of Cups. This does show a good balance of energy in terms of giving and receiving. And Eight of Pentacles, which is about working hard on something, okay? Learning a skill, learning a craft, being hardworking, applying yourself to something. So together, I really just see that the energy, the work that you're putting into this, and I'm really drawn to all the different moons in the background. Okay, so I think this is work that you've been putting in across many lunar cycles. This has been like not like just a couple days long story, or not like a couple weeks long story. This might be even like a several months or even all year. For some of you, I know I can relate to that story where you've been really working on manifesting something and calling it into being. It's been like a lot of hard work that you've been putting into this. Okay, and with the Six of Cups, this shows me that like there will be an equal exchange. You will kind of reap what you sow. You will get the energy back that you've put into this scenario. I just think that the timing of it and maybe who's involved with it, those aspects might be slightly out of your control. So you've got to surrender those bits. Okay. So I really love this for you, Pile One peeps. Please give this video a like, drop a positive supportive comment down below. Let me know how you resonated with this. It always brings me so much joy to see you guys relating to the pile picks and just saying hello and how you resonated with it. I always enjoy that the most. It makes me want to come back and record more videos. So I'm sending you guys so much love, Pile One peeps. Make sure that you're staying up to date. You can subscribe to my email newsletter. I've got the Patreon going on. If you missed some of those announcements, go back to the beginning of this video where I go over them, because there's some really good stuff in there. Fingers crossed, this video is still going strong, because I just recorded the beginning and I recorded Pile One peeps message and then it cut out. But when I came back in, it showed it was still recording. So I'm going to continue with this. Hopefully I will be able to splice the two videos together. We'll see what happens. But I'm just going to trust, surrender, allow this process to unfold like I was talking about in Pile One's message. So we'll see what happens here. So Pile Two peeps, these are the cards for you. Let's see what we've got. And I know you guys can't see this yet, but I will show you shortly. And then I do want to also give you guys some extra, so I'm going to do that with the Chakra Love cards. I'm actually drawn to pick this one right now. And also I've got my Astro Dice out, so I'm going to do a little bit more with my Astro Dice. All right, you guys have a little bit of a heavier message than Pile One, but I see the theme that's already going on with these pick cards in this video, because there's a lot so far about attachment and needing to surrender to kind of what's like a cosmic karmic destiny that's trying to unfold here. So we have, there's nothing to regret when I learn from my past, unhooking the past, okay? And we do have the Three of Swords here, which in this deck is depicted pretty intensely, pretty harshly, okay? About that heartbreak, that sorrow. And we do have this next to the King of Swords, okay? So this actually could indicate, like, because it's unhooking the past, how funny too that shows up on the back of these, it's like kind of secretive. So I see this as potentially like a very deeply rooted sorrow, potentially like a really like long-term ex or an ex from a while ago that potentially was an air sign or had strong air energy in their chart. With the King of Swords here, this is like, you know, Aquarius, Libra, Gemini, those signs, man or woman or however. And with this Three of Swords, this is like, and the unhooking the past card, which it's so interesting to me how that's showing up on like the reverse side. So it's like you're learning how to choose to move forward here, but it says there's nothing to regret when I learned from my past. So this card didn't show up as unhooking the past. It showed up on this side. So I see this as you being very, very aware of what these wounds are with this person, and almost reaching a place where you're really like integrating the lessons from that. In a weird way, I see this as like positive, even though there's a lot of harsh, intense energy here. I see it as like you're reaching a new stage, okay? Almost like a new up leveling of your karmic clearing and the releasing work that you've had to do around your heartbreak and sorrow with this person or with this mental thing, whatever it was. Maybe it was like, I could see for some of you, this even manifesting as like a particular course of study you wanted to pursue that didn't work out, or like a particular business that was maybe like very like swords energy-ish and just like did not work out or something here. But there has been a lot of deeply rooted pain as it relates to this person, place, or thing. And you've really had to do a lot of work on seeing what those wounds are, diving deep into it. This might have been a lot of Scorpio season for you, has been like having a lot of this grief and this intense energy kind of coming back for you to really clear again. Okay. And maybe this full moon with this algal energy is helping you really like up level your transformation in that. I know this has been like a huge truth for me as well, which has been happening very behind the scenes. So it's not an easy energy. It's definitely intense here, but I'm going to actually pull another tarot card for you guys, just because I feel like we need a little bit more oomph with this. A card here, clarifier. I'm going to get one more after that one. Clarifying message here for pile 2 peeps with this dynamic. Kind of got 2 that kind of want to come out. Oh, almost 3. Sometimes they do not want to come out, like just one at a time. All right, so we got 7 of Wands, which does normally indicate standing your ground. However, 7 of Wands does also carry an energy about feeling defensive, feeling like you need to defend yourself to other people here. So what I'm kind of getting in the context of this spread is that it's like you no longer, oh, feels heavy in my heart here. Hold on. I'm going to get to it. It's just still coming up through the throat chakra, but it's in the heart chakra there. So we also got destiny here, and this did come up in reverse. Okay. It's also intense because this is a pile I picked, although I always resonate with something from all the piles, but this pile, I like made a note, like, look at this pile. So it's, I think, also hard for me because I'm really connecting with it. So it's like I'm trying to channel for you guys, but I'm also super resonating with it myself. Almost like the same way that it's hard for like a medium to channel someone that they personally have lost really close to them. It can be hard for a channel with cards or however to, when they really see the connection to it, to like still be trying to be like and attached to what they're saying, you know. But with this destiny card upside down and the 7 of Wands card here, okay, we do have 4 of Swords, 2 of Wands, and the Hermit. So let's just take a quick sidestep. I'm going to get into these 2 cards in a second. I see this with the Hermit as, yes, you have done so much spiritual work on unhooking from the past with this sorrow and this sadness and this grief and loss related to this connection, this swords energy type thing. You've really done a lot of inner work on this, okay? And this inner work may have been very, very deep and profound, such that it almost like put your life on hold in a certain way, or you had to really like take a lot of breaks with your life or just moving forward in your life because you had to do so much healing work with this. The 4 of Swords is a card indicating rest and sleep, okay? So if you're not relating to this on the level of like a huge pattern that you're coming out of or working past, this might even be just like recently you went through some type of heartbreak and you've had to do a lot of inner work and take a time out about it, okay? But I also get the sense that for some of you, I know this is my truth, like this relates to a long, long chapter of pain and difficulty relating to this person, place, or thing. And it has actually, I don't want to say inhibited you, because I feel like everything's part of our path and our journey. And it's not like you've done anything wrong. It's just that this has really required you to do some deep soul searching about the pain and the sorrow and processing that pain and that sorrow. And it's had you, forced you to kind of slow down a little bit here. Okay. Again, kind of heavy stuff here. But with the Seven of Wands and destiny in reverse, okay, this is sad, but it's beautiful at the same time. It's very Scorpio, I will say. It's almost like you really, I'm still relating to this, so I have to, angels, please help me to channel this in a loving and heartfelt way in which I'm authentic with my truth while also being of service to others. So it's like with this dynamic, and it's interesting, I'm really drawn to like this mark on her arm as I talk about that. You guys can see that? I don't know if you can see that, but there is a mark on her arm. You can barely see it there. There we go, right there. So this situation has left a mark on you, and it is a mark that you may carry for the rest of this lifetime. It's left an imprint on you. This was like a major karmic connection, karmic situation that you went through. And I'm getting the sense that this was over like a long, long time, which is why it's left like almost like a tattoo on you in some way, you know. Some of you may have literal tattoos from this person or this situation, I don't know. So I think that as a result of this deep, deep introspection and the time you took for healing, okay, with these two cards related to this energy, because again, we always have to pay attention to the deck that's being used when the message comes through. So in this deck, it's a very intense card. It's almost like 10 of swords here, as well as 3 of swords. It's like very intense, very painful. I have other decks which show 3 of swords and it's not as intense as that. So this to me is just showing that this was like a very intense heartbreak here, you know. Literally, you can even see like the strings, the attachment to this love connection or to this whatever it was for you. There was so much attachment to this as part of your path, as part of your destiny, that when it did end or just like derail or fall apart, it just like, it really like just destroyed you in some type of way. You know, you could see like her anguish there, her despair of loss. If any of you have not watched the Katy Perry music video from Rise, I believe it is, I think that's the name of the song, but it's the one where she's trying to get up into a hot air balloon and she's like got all the strings attached. It's a really, really powerful music video. I'm probably going to go watch it after I finish this. Definitely make sure that you watch that because it will, I think, be cathartic for you to see like a visual representation of you trying to kind of like move forward with your life, but feeling like, wow, there was so many strings that I had to navigate with this. And, you know, it does have a happy ending in the video. So I think it'll help you. But with this destiny card in reverse and the 7 of Wands, this is the message I'm trying to get through that I've tried to get through a couple of times, but it's heavy. Because I'm really relating to this with a really long-term ex I had in my own life. So it's I can really relate. There's an energy here where you acknowledge that it's no longer part of your destiny to fight for or stand up for or stick up to stand your ground with this person. You really have reached a point with this where you acknowledge that that was then, this is now, that was perhaps my twin flame, that was perhaps like my first, you know, true soulmate in this lifetime, but for whatever reason, the destiny did not continue. You know, this could definitely be an energy here of like soul contracts were broken. Maybe you felt like you were supposed to be with this person for so much longer, but somehow the soul contracts just didn't work. And that can happen. So we can, as two souls, before we enter into this lifetime, we have agreements that we're going to meet up with certain souls, certain soul families, that we're going to support one another. But of course, when we get back to earth, we have free will. So someone can break a soul contract, meaning that they, you know, were destined to kind of have a particular path with you to help you with certain things or co-create certain things with you. But then out of just their own limitations or their ego or just whatever reasons, they kind of break that soul contract out of free will, because we all have free will, and they don't follow through with that. And it can be very heartbreaking for the other person. It's like, well, we had like a soul contract, even if you're not physically admitting that or saying that, or if there's no contract that's been signed, like no marriage or legal document, energetically, that can be so much there. So you can feel like you're so disappointed and so heartbroken, you know, that more didn't elapse with that person. right? So I see this energy here as with this destiny card in reverse and like the 7 of wands. It's like you reach this point, you have the yin card here, which is about the divine feminine energy, flow, receptivity, and surrender. You reach this point potentially with this full moon where it's like you fully let it go. You fully say like, you know what? I acknowledge that I don't have to fight for having this person in my life anymore. I don't have to hold on to this. I don't have to be defensive about this person or trying to defend this person to other people. I just am willing to just surrender and to just let it go. It's no longer part of my path anymore. Heavy stuff, I know. But the good news is that in the process of reaching this like real culmination point with letting go of this person, place, or thing, you quickly start to assess your future and moving forward. Okay, so we have the assessing card here, which is, and look, it's a hot air balloon. Okay, you can't make this stuff up. You guys got to watch that video because it's like there's some energy here about like, you know, you've been trying to get the hot air balloon to go up off the ground and it hasn't been working. Now it's going to start to go, this hot air balloon is going to start flying high. And we have 2 of wands here, not quite as strong as the 3 of wands when it comes to visioning our future and moving forward, but certainly you're now looking out the window, you're looking at your other options, okay? We also have patience here. Be willing to pass up good for great. Powerful message. Be willing to pass up good for great, okay? I think this is too, it's like, you're not going to defend something that's like only half fulfillment. You're not going to like, you know what you should stand up for now. And you're really kind of like, the lesson you really learned from this whole situation was too, like, I'm not going to settle for less. Like, you know, I've had it where I know that I can give, that I can put in so much energy. I know that I can show up in this way. And as a result of what I went through with this, it may have given you a bit more of a tough skin, you know, which is not always a bad thing, especially if we do incarnate as like a super earth angel. You know, I came across a photo of myself from many years ago now, where I was actually in my ex's apartment and I had such strong earth angel vibes in this photo, like so much innocence and like purity to myself. And I know everything I went through since that photo was taken. So it's interesting as like a future version of myself to look at that photo and to see how I was then and how I am now, and like the choices I would make now versus then. And I know this is also because I've been under certain astrological transits to Pluto, which will do that for you. It will toughen you up because it forces you to confront certain shadow work energy and to sometimes see the darker shades of life and the shadowy energy that can exist. So I think that you've really gone through this like pretty intense journey. And I know I'm super relating to this, obviously. So my heart goes out to you because I am speaking from my own experience with all of this, of course. But I think that you're now in a place where you're like, you are super assessing what's next. How am I moving forward? Who's my next person? What's my next project? What's my next job or business endeavor? And with this patience card, yes, it's got patience on it. But if you look, she's also assessing. So we have really 3 different cards here about, look at every single one is looking this way. So you're looking now in a particular direction, you know, like it might have been that before you were kind of looking towards the past as well as looking towards the future. This now shows like, and it's funny because for my angel answer cards, I kept pulling this damn card of choose a new direction. And the card still aggravates me because of like a variety of reasons. But I just see this as like, you're choosing to look forward. Okay. You're choosing to look forward and not to the past anymore. With this destiny card in reverse and the 7 of wands, you no longer feel like you have to be defensive about having that person in your life or that you have to stand your ground for including that person in your life anymore. Like you're just so, you just reached such a level with it where you're really just like, I unhooked myself from this. You know, that was one of the first cards you guys had, unhooking the past. And I do see this as like so much more than just detachment. This is like true like karmic clearing here with unhooking the past. Okay, let's get, oh no, I did do one of those. Let me get from the Astro Dice for you guys. Okay, so we have moon in Taurus, which was exactly this full moon we had, moon in Taurus, and we have third house here, which is the house of Gemini and relates to the mind. So you may have literally had a moon in Taurus on your mind. I know that's my truth. But this also can be an energy here of certainly just speaking to how powerful this particular full moon in Taurus has been for you, but also that you've really just, you know, in your mind, you've shifted your perspective here quite significantly. You know, Taurus is fixed earth. So it's like holding the energy. You know, you are holding on to it, maybe being even stubborn about, you know, your emotional attachment to this thing, this endeavor, whatever it is. And with the third house here with Gemini, it's like you're willing to kind of like shift your focus here a little bit. You're willing to kind of maybe like change your mind a little bit. And in a certain sense, it's sort of like just loosen up the energy a tad, okay? Because, you know, with the Taurus energy and the Scorpio energy, it's so much fixed energy, okay? I'm gonna pull an extra card for you guys from this, just to bring this home. We have intuition. Intuition is the little tug that pulls you towards your light third eye chakra. So yeah, lots of visioning towards the future here. You might want to work with crystals related to the third eye, as well as listen to third eye, or third, not third chakra, but third eye, or it's sometimes called brow chakra, okay? Music here, because there's a lot here that you're visioning towards the future. So to really support you with all of this vibe, working with the third eye, I think could be really helpful for you continuing to just like manifest on this future path, okay? So really powerful message for you pile 2 peeps. And it's funny, like usually I'm kind of like, yeah, this is gonna be my pile, but with this one, it was like, I had a really strong nudge about this is like my pile. So I think that my experience with it even was part of the reading for you in a way. And please give this video a like, drop a comment down below. Let me know how you related to that. I always love coming back to my videos and seeing your positive supportive comments. It helps me so very much. Please check out my Etsy shop. You can subscribe to my email newsletter. I've also got a Patreon going now, and there are my membership groups on there, which you can check out, as well as a low cost tier called Give Back Fairy, where you can contribute $5 a month and help me support the maintenance of my channel and help me afford new things for my channel, like editing and things like that. And also, once I get to a particular goal with the number of Patreons, I'll start doing more pick a card videos privately just for Patreon. So please check that out and consider supporting my work. It does help so very much. All right, pile 3 peeps. Pile 1 and pile 2 had some really intense, powerful messages. I already feel like I knew the theme for this pick a card, but let's get into your cards and see what you've got going on. Let's see how we do. Okay. I'm just doing a little bit of rearranging here. And I'm going to pull as extra from the Chakra Love deck here. Bonus cards for pile 3. I want to pull a little bit more tarot for you guys. Okay. You guys have very different energy than pile 1 and pile 2, I will say, but let's get 2 more tarot cards just to kind of drive this home. I know you can't see what I'm seeing yet, but you will shortly. I'm not focused. Let me refocus. Pile 3, what does pile 3 need to know as clarification messages here? I'm a little thrown because you guys are like so different than the other piles were here. Okay. We'll see what happens with that. And then I've got the astro dice. I'm actually going to do that now for you guys. Okay. All right, so I'm feeling called actually to start with the astro dice, and we'll just kind of roll from there because there's a couple different messages going on here. Okay. So we have solar plexus chakra, confidence. No one will believe in you if you don't believe in yourself. Be your own cheerleader. Q, I feel like I talked about this on another pick a card video, but there's this really old school song where the guy has the lyric of like, be your own cheerleader kind of thing. I know I've talked about this in another video, and I think I linked the video or something. But this is definitely about like believe in yourself, pep talk vibes. Okay. We do have sovereignty here. So this is about acknowledging that you are this beautiful being that has lived. Look at all of this like cosmos energy here. You know, it's like you lived many different lifetimes, potentially as many different, you know, versions of a soul. You know, you might have been a man in a lifetime, a woman in a lifetime. You might have been like, you know, I know in one past life regression, I had like blue skin and was just like totally on like this other planet. And, you know, going into your past life regressions can also help you have healthy appreciation for your soul and just what it has gone through. So I think with this sovereignty card, it's like believing in yourself that this is not your first time here, you know, like you're not a new kid on the block when it comes to being involved in energy and working with energy. Like you have done things before, you know how to manifest, you know how to create things, you know how to work with energy, and really just like honoring that and owning up to that, I think could be really powerful for you, because I do see this energy here of feeling like you might have a little bit of like mixed vibrations with your manifestations, or maybe feeling like you're too scattered, because we have grounding my energy. And it says, it is safe to be in my body. Okay. And we have 7 of Cups. So the 7 of Cups is definitely a card about a lot of different choices. You're trying to figure out which direction to go with something. Okay. Not necessarily a bad thing. It's always, you know, there's a phase we go through where we might be like trying different things on for size. Like if we're trying to find a particular partner, we might need to date different types of people to find out more of what we want. We might need to interview with different types of jobs. Okay. But I kind of get the sense that this is like, for some of you, this might even be a little bit of a stalling energy, where it's like, because that can happen with the 7 of Cups, where we get too caught up in like, well, what if this and what if that and what if this, that we actually don't like initiate something to get it moving. So there could be a little bit of a nudge here about like, okay, if you were to like even have like half HALF, like to cut in half these options, that might even help you out to just kind of ground it, to be like, okay, I'm gonna, instead of 6 choices or 7 choices, I'm gonna narrow it down to 3. And then from the 3, I'm gonna dip a toe in the water of these 3 and then make a choice from maybe of 2 once I, you know, cover all of this rest of this up, right? I mean, literally that could be something for you as well. Like if you're trying to focus on something, how can you also block out certain distractions? Sometimes we're distracted, you know, sometimes I know I went through this recently where I was like, wow, I'm really kind of like putting my energy into this one life area and kind of obsessing about it, but actually this other life area like really needs my attention. So cutting off the life supply or the oxygen supply to this other thing, although it hurts, this energy over here does need my attention, and I'm going to do that for a little while, because there is such a thing as like splitting your focus too much, you know? And I know they've done studies on like multitasking, and like people think that it's like they're multitasking, but actually they're typically putting in like less of a valuable or quality product into the endpoints of what they're multitasking than if they just stopped and focused on like that one thing, you know, or maybe 2 things. So there's a little bit here about definitely this energy of confidence, believing in yourself with your manifestations, as well as kind of like, I get the sense that you might not be in a position yet where you can make like the exact choice, but at least trying to narrow it down a little bit and to try to block out some of the distractions. It's weird because I kind of see like a bat wing here, if you guys see that. So there might have been something that came up like maybe around Halloween. I know I can relate to this. Something that came up around Halloween that actually served as like a distraction for you. Maybe like a job op or a person or something happened then that like started to take up your focus and like really distract you a bit. So this could be saying to just like see what of what you've got in your reality could you kind of simplify to try to help you to like focus this sovereignty energy about manifesting. Okay. And we do have here from the Astro Sun in Virgo. Sun in Virgo in the 5th house. So the 5th house is creative energy. It's Leo-based energy. Definitely does relate to our creative endeavors, creative projects, entrepreneurship. And with the Sun in Virgo, this is being very industrious, very hardworking, you know, trying to be efficient with it, come up with routines and organization around it. So I see you guys as definitely having things that are passion projects, things that are in some ways needing your attention, needing your leadership with the 5th house, okay? And it could be that this distraction that you're going through is slightly preventing you from maybe leveling up with those passion projects. We do have the Knight of Wands here, so this does indicate definitely passionate energy. This could also indicate that distraction that came in, okay? That might have been kind of like hot and heavy, but was maybe like a little bit more short-lived here. I will BRB because I need to check on one quick thing. All right, I had a major distraction come up talking about distractions. So yeah, there might be definitely some distraction energy that you guys have been dealing with, which, you know, it happens. It's part of life. Life is multifaceted. I'm going to cut this tarot deck and get another card for you guys. We got 5 of Swords. Okay, so I wonder if this distraction was maybe it did not work out according to plan. There might be something about it where it was like, oh, this is exciting. This is tempting with this like Halloween kind of Scorpio-ish energy. But then in some weird way, it actually led to like a lot of headaches, a lot of like mental conflict here. So you might have had to like, even though it was fun while it was going on and there was definitely passion from it, you realize that like, actually, this is just taking up a little bit too much of my mental energies right now. Okay. And you might have had to cut ties to it or figure out a way to like just detach from it, even if just temporarily. You guys did have the 6 of Pentacles, which does indicate giving and receiving. I think that relates to this energy up here about friendship. I'm going to pull one more card related to this situation. Please give me a clarifier on this situation if needed. Sometimes we don't really need a clarifier, but yeah. Okay. The Tower. So yeah, you did have to cut that situation out. It might have ended quite abruptly with the Tower here. I did also cut the deck and I got Ace of Cups. So this could have been an offer that was made, like a love connection or a job or even some type of business proposal, you know, because the Ace of Cups doesn't have to be just about love. But there was something here which like initially like an offer of love was made, but then it ended up like kind of drastically or / abruptly ending. Okay. And probably this was for the best because it was causing a lot of mental conflict. I feel like it was distracting you here. And I think this was an energy of like, it was fun while it lasted, but it might have been very ungrounded here. Okay. So I think you guys have had something that went down with that, okay? And it could be that like maybe it's just a time will tell scenario where I keep cutting the deck and getting more messages for you guys, but signs, there will always be signs to guide you on your true path. So I think that like possibly because you were very distracted and putting a lot of mental energy into that thing, it might have blocked you from feeling present to paying attention to the signs with your other manifestations that need your focus. So maybe when you get those other manifestations more in focus, you'll feel like you can devote more energy to this thing over here if you do want it back. The Tower card typically does indicate, though, that it's like kind of like a crash and burn kind of vibe, but just throwing it out there. So, because we do have a Venus retrograde coming up in Capricorn, so I just got to throw anything's possible. So now on the other side of your spread, we do have some totally different energy, which I think is like really loving, really supportive, and you're being encouraged to tap more into this. So this is a lot of energy here about the energy of friendship, networking, partnership, community, okay, and the exchange of energy and the beautiful blessings you can accomplish through that. So first, we have heart chakra connection, Father Divine and Mother Earth make love in your heart. So definitely there could be something here where it's like, you know, your heart chakra is hurting. You are maybe working on a particular manifestation. You're trying to be patient with the process, trying to get it to form into being. But there is this part where it's like, well, I miss this and I miss that. Maybe you're single and you're wanting to manifest love. So it's like your heart chakra like needs love and attention here. This is an acknowledgement that you do need to honor your heart chakra. You do need to honor having other types of loving connections in your life, okay? But we have a strong vibe here about really like the power of friendship, partnerships, networking for you right now in your life, because we have friendship, we have exchanging gifts. These two cards together, they remind me, so my friend Julia that lives in Hawaii, she makes the most incredible goddess artwork, and we were for a time doing an exchange with each other where I was giving her my services and she was giving me artwork pieces, and it was this beautiful friendship of exchanging gifts, okay? And that was, you know, / is a form of love, right? That is a form of love. We have Three of Cups here, which is a card about celebrations, but it's also about friendships and gathering together with people. This could be virtually, you know, a lot of the I have lots of partnerships that I do even with my business, and a lot of them are virtual, you know? So this doesn't have to be in person if there's, you know, challenges there. And then we have Six of Pentacles, which is about giving and receiving. Six of Pentacles here, to me, this is like, these are equivalent cards, okay? This exchanging gifts and the Six of Pentacles. And I'm going to pull one more card for you guys here from this one. Manifestation. Manifestation is the fruition of confidence and belief. And look at that. You guys have solar plexus chakra coming up twice with confidence twice. Okay. So absolutely working on your solar plexus chakra, pile 3 peeps, you need to do that, okay? Get outside more, see if you can have more time with the sun. If it's cold, see if you can bundle up, you know, and working in more yellow foods, working with like turmeric, working with even like lentils, working with lemons, super good, detoxifying, okay? Make like a tasty lemon water here. So solar plexus vibes. You guys did also have the sun from astrology and Virgo, which to me, Virgo is always related to the stomach and the solar plexus chakra anyway, okay? And the sun is about confidence and again, yellow kind of solar light here. So you do need to tap into more of your brightness, your light, your confidence, okay? And really try to stay away from things that distract you from your confidence and believing in yourself. People, places, and things that just like, they're too much of a distraction. They drain you too much, you know? And I think you need to focus on the connections in your life, whether they be friendships, work colleagues, okay? Business partnerships. This vibe, I will say, is not really romantic. It's more like other versions of love, right? Because there's multiple versions of what love can be, and it doesn't always have to be about in like physical intimacy. But there is a lot of love for you here, okay? And with Jupiter in Aquarius in astrology, there is a lot of joy and expansion through those very things. Our friends, our social groups, the networking that we can do, okay? So there's a lot of energy that you could tap into here in order to feel like this is good for you, that this is productive for you. The energy here with the Six of Pentacles and even like the Three of Cups and this exchanging gifts, this indicates that like the energy that you put in, you will get back in return. So these are the kind of connections, the kind of situations, the kind of like healthy distractions. In this case, they're not really distractions, they're kind of part of your path. But if you want to consider it distractions, where it is more balanced, where there's like a mutual give and take, where there's a receiving and a giving energy going on. I get the sense that whatever this thing was that came up that was a distraction for you was kind of like a flash in the pan kind of vibe. And although it was maybe exciting at first, okay, it started to kind of quickly derail you a bit mentally, because it started to like split your focus a little bit too much here with the Seven of Cups. And it started to become kind of like mentally just taking up so much of your energy. And it kind of resulted in this. I'm not saying that you did anything wrong. I don't even think it's bad that this happened. I just think it's like, it's just a reminder for you that you do have a lot of energy to give. And you also may have a lot of like solar light with all of this solar plexus chakra. You may have a lot of, like you may need to work, you may be, and maybe, so for some of you, this might be like working on your self-confidence a bit, but also this could be that you just have a lot, you're a very bright energy. You have a lot that can be offered, So trying to find the resources, the people, places, and things that honor your light in a way which is mutually balanced, okay, about giving and receiving is what you want to do more of. And being discerning of situations where maybe it's like they kind of steal your energy a little bit because it's more like a flash in the pan and then they're like nowhere to be found afterwards. So I'm not telling you guys what to do, but I'm just kind of reading in the cards, some of the dynamics going on. But over here with this vibe, okay, when it comes to friends, networking, investing in like social communities, this is some good stuff right here. There's definitely abundance that can be had through this, okay? I'm gonna pull one more. Do I wanna grab, do I wanna be that bold? Let me see. All right, I am gonna be that bold. I've got my romance angel cards out because I'm getting a strong hookup vibe from this. So let's get from romance angels, let's get a card here with this, okay? Also, I got a nudge too as I was squeezing past my desk here to like try to not wake up my dog. This giving and receiving, this can also be with pets, this can be with other creatures in our life that we love, that we have an equal give and take of energy from because we love them and they love us in return, okay? So clarification card here with romance angels for pile 3, if you so choose to receive it as such or know that that's your truth. Okay. Hold on. Know what I was expecting here. Hold on. Clarifier on this. All right, there's a whole bunch of messiness here, okay? I told you guys, the Venus retrograde in Capricorn coming up, end of December. There's more details on it in my Girl's Guide to Retrograde Spiritual Curriculum, so you might want to check that out. Okay, I'm so relating to this, which is why I'm laughing. Angels, I ask that you help me be a channel for these messages with love, truth, healing, and peace in a way that's constructive for all, as well as, including any personal stories of my own if necessary. So you guys have a bunch going on here with this, okay? If this is not your truth, that this was romantic, feel free to pause and, wrap up here, but please leave a comment down below, give this video a like, all of the things if you do choose to hop off early. But I would say too that you'd be surprised how the romance angel cards can fit even with things that are not like romantic, like that are business and other things. So anyway, the first 2 cards I got were religious factors and give your relationship a chance. So this does indicate that there's something here that could be worked through or worked on, but with religious factors, there's an imbalance here where you're not thinking the same way, you don't believe the same things, you don't like, there's an imbalance here in terms of values and beliefs. I will say a caution though with this is that you'll know if this is your truth or not, okay? Sometimes we can give something too many chances where it's like, okay, well, I tried and I tried and I tried. So pay attention to how much time that went on for this dynamic, because sometimes we do have to be like, we just don't have the same values, hold the same beliefs, and it's not gonna work. Now, I feel like though for most of us, that wasn't the case because it's Knight of Wands, which indicates something that came in quite fast, was quite passionate here, okay, and probably didn't have that much time to be developed. So this could be talking about the fact that there could be more that you could develop with this, but it would require like a realignment of values and belief systems here. Now we do have deception and worth waiting for. So it's so funny too, because I was just talking about earlier in this video how I don't like to do romance readings, and what happens? But the angels are like, yeah, here's an opportunity for you to talk about romance. But anyway. But with deception and worth waiting for, this indicates that one or potentially even both people in this dynamic are not seeing things clearly. They're not presenting either all of their feelings, okay, or their fullest version of themselves. They might be saying like, yeah, I'm over you, I'm not into you anymore, I don't care about you, but actually they are, okay? Or it could be the other way where it's like one person is like, hey, I'm super into you, I'm like super showing my affection for you, but where is your affection? And they're like not showing you any affection, but they actually do have feelings for you. And with this worth waiting for card, it's indicating that like either this whole situation is, again, two different interpretations, but it could be that this situation is too deceptive and you need to just like cut it off and find someone else. It's going to take some time. Or this could be that it's going to take some time for this person or both people to shed their masks, okay? With this scenario, it's going to take some time to get to that point of like authenticity. So putting this all together, this really does show me that this is like a very flip-flop kind of energy vibe, which makes sense why you guys were getting the, and I know I can like really pull it, why you guys were getting the Five of Swords here, which is a lot of mental conflict. It's like there's too much mixed vibration in this initial connection with this person that it's actually like become a headache, because it's like it's up and it's down, it's left and it's right, it's all over the place. Seven of Cups, okay, too much going on and it's not really aligning. So there was this necessity to like basically completely cut cords to it, and to like the Tower card coming in, like we've got to take a break, we've got to cut cords, we've got to like, you know, just kind of go our separate ways for now and just like surrender it, okay? And I do think that that is the best thing for right now, because I think if you were to continue on this path of trying to resolve it with all of this mixed energy, I don't really know if you would have gotten anywhere. I think you would have kind of been spinning your wheels, because what I see is the necessary factor to kind of fix this is a lot about time with this worth waiting for, as well as a willingness to work on it. And that willingness to work on it is going to require both people being raw and authentic and vulnerable about their feelings and what they want from this. So there would be some healing that's necessary here in order for this to reboot itself. But again, I'm telling you guys, with this Venus retrograde coming up, like anything's possible to come back and be revisited. It's up to you though, if you're willing to kind of do that work and they're willing to do that work. Remember that they have free will, so you don't have control over what the other person contributes to, says, or does in it, but you do have to pay attention to kind of what this did for you, okay, in terms of the distraction vibes and the mental headaches, which I think is why really the best advice I could give you is to make a clean break of it right now, because it's just like not serving you. So that's what I have for you, pile 3 peeps. It was definitely a reading about your manifesting stuff. Where are you putting your energy in? Where right now it's actually good for you to put your energy in, which is friendships, networking, social groups. And there was totally like the side piece romance situation that needed some love in there too. So I hope you really enjoyed that. Please give this video a like, comment down below, let me know how you related to that. I love reading your comments about just support for my channel and how you relate to the pile picks. It makes me so happy and want to come back to record more videos. Please check out my offerings on my Etsy shop. I do private readings. I have spiritual curriculums listed for sale there, which are instant downloads, and I've got a few and growing. I've also got a Patreon now. I do talk about a bunch of this stuff at the beginning of this video, so if you missed that, please go back and watch the beginning. But on my Patreon, which you can see in the description, you can find my membership groups, which you can sign up for, which have a lot of content and juiciness. And then I've also got a tier called Give Back Fairy, which is a low monthly rate tier where you can contribute and help me to manifest more things to do on my channel. And I will, as I get more Patreons, do more pick a card videos just for those Patreons. There's a couple perks with that channel too, even though it is just like a low cost. And it really does mean a lot when you can support me in that way. So sending you guys so much love, Pile 3 peeps, and see you on the next one. Bye.